You must bend the energy within. You're connected to all the spiritual energy.
No better place of connectivity than the swamp tree. And no better person to teach connectivity than Toph. But the swamp tree shows us our demons, and Korra fights hers, Avatar Korra. She's wrapped by the very chain she fears and sunk into the very poison that controls her. In the next episode, we learn that she still has poison, representing how Korra isn't 100% in control. She may have learned how to bend metal, but the metal is bending her. We see Korra's reaction to the poison, resisting Toph's help because of a mental blockage. And Toph brings up one of the best looks into Korra's character and her mental health.
Maybe so you have an excuse not to go back to being the Avatar. If you don't get better, you can't do your job, so you don't have to worry about getting hurt again.
Some war veterans don't want to get better because they're afraid to go out into the battlefield again, only to get hurt again. And this is exactly how Korra is reacting. An extremely accurate depiction of PTSD. And Toph gives her the freedom to choose whether to get better or not, and this duality of pain makes Korra such an extremely rich character. When Korra goes through the swamp, it shows her deepest conflictions. Taoism is a big part of the Avatar world, and this connection with nature is really important. In the 8 chakras of Hinduism, the throat chakra deals with truth and is blocked by lies. And Korra lies about wanting to be the Avatar again. Korra isn't open to the truth, she isn't open to listening to the swamp.
It'll teach you what you need to learn, if you're open to listening.
Korra has to listen to what the swamp, life, and nature, and the world is telling her. When Korra listens and is conscious of her problems, she better understands them. This is the parallel with Avatar Wan's growth with nature. Instead of fighting the water current that is life, he flows with it. And it's Avatar Wan's pain that gave him the empathy to understand others. It's what connected him to nature, his first animal guide. We get more development and characterization to Korra's poison. Not only does it represent Korra's self-doubts and lack of control, but the spirit of her villains. As though they're still with her, she's still fighting them, and it makes sense because as soon as she got the poison in Season 3, they mentally returned. Korra has been disconnected with her community, and all she has left is her poison.
You've been disconnected for too long. Disconnected from the people who love you.
Which carries her doubts, enemies, and fears. Korra does connect with Jinora, Milo, and Iki, and this connection isn't for them to remove the poison, but to support Korra in removing it by herself.
You gotta do this on your own.
Korra just has to listen, know her demons in order to remove them, to realize that
fight is over.
In order to
Release the fear.
It's then where she not only connects but has control over the Avatar state again. It's things like this that really show the heart in a community. The friendship between Aang and Toph transcending to another lifetime. The true power of connection and unity. Kuvira and Tahir are opposites, order and chaos. And when Korra meets each villain for the first time, we see her growth. Korra is more harsh and strict with Tahir because she doesn't want to get manipulated by another villain. But later on in the conversation becomes more understanding with Tahir.
Here, please. As an airbender, you could help make a positive difference in the world.
When Korra talks with Kuvira, she's understanding and empathetic. But that empathy gets taken advantage by Kuvira a little bit. So when Kuvira captures the leaders of Zaofu, Korra becomes more strict. Korra versus Kuvira. From the visual details, Korra has gotten weaker, having a lack of muscle mass. Korra is trying to be this old Avatar she used to be. She wants to go back to normal, to that old Season 3 Avatar. But she doesn't want to face the pain that comes with that. Korra may have gotten rid of the trauma and poison of her old enemies, but she's not learning from them. She let them go by releasing the poison, but she hasn't found meaning in her suffering. Korra has consistently lost over and over again, and it really humbles her character, to the point where both her and the audience see her as useless. Another parallel between the audience and Korra. While Asami and another side of the audience see her as a great Avatar she is, and Tenjin shows the balance between this. Even though Korra might lose and evil will always come, Korra used that evil to better herself. Korra gave up on that in Season 4, but it's her darkest pain that will later make her her strongest self. And shown in the next episode, Korra is placed in a situation where she has to find meaning in her darkest time by facing the man who caused it in order to do a job no one but the Avatar can do.
You think your power has limits. I say it's limitless.
Korra's true power lies in letting go. Her deepest form of suffering allows her to feel, removing all defenses and barriers she created, representing the barrier in the spirit world, to be broken, finding peace in chaos. Literally finding the spirit of peace, Rava, while Zahir stands for chaos. And because Korra removed these barriers and allowed herself to be vulnerable in a chaotic world, she is truly connected to everything on a spiritual level.
You're connected to all the spiritual energy.
Korra had avoided what happened to her for so long. The trauma had to come out in forms of visions and nightmares, PTSD. So of course it's less present when she finally faces it.
Accept what happened to you. Don't fear what might have been.
As she says herself,
You think you're finally able to forget about what Zahir did to you?
No, but I am finally able to accept what happened, and I think that's gonna make me stronger.
Korra shows by removing the barriers we create for ourselves, we can better understand the world and connect with it, and most importantly, become stronger. In the Season 4 two-part finale, we get an answer to the question the show has been asking this whole time. What is the role the Avatar has on this new world? And we get 3 answers. 1, to connect, 2, to influence, and 3, to understand. We see the power of connection everyone Korra has met along the journey. Without Milo, Mako, Varric, Bolin, Su, Lin, Tenzin, and so much more, they wouldn't have defeated Kuvira's mech. It shows everyone has the power to do something regardless of being the Avatar. Everyone came together, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Korra. Number 2, influence. This is perfectly captured by Mako.
Whenever I think of her, she continues to inspire me.
Mako shows us the Avatar isn't just a hero, but a symbol of inspiration. And that's Korra's true strength. Mako was a selfish character. His parents died in a cruel world, and he fought only for himself and his brother, which explains for his cheating behavior. It was important showing Mako and Bolin's family, and Kai. It was knowing what it was like to not have a family that drive them to not let it happen to anyone else, to not let anyone be alone again.
I've got your back, and I always will.
To be there for them, and this is what Korra does for Kuvira. Even Kuvira, a girl who was abandoned by her family and even distant from her new family. Kuvira didn't want the same thing to happen to her nation, her people. That's where her and Korra are the same. But Kuvira needed power to protect her people, but this led her to be addicted to that power, and thirst for more. Kuvira is a physical representation of an extremism in Korra. Kuvira is Korra if she never faced consequences for her ego. And Kuvira is a representation of what all the past villains were against. Kuvira used her bending to oppress people. She didn't respect nature or the spirits, only to be used for war. And of course, her dictatorship opposing Zahir's anarchy. When Kuvira is clearly defeated, she doesn't accept it, because she had the most powerful weapon in the world, and was able to beat the most powerful being in the world in their first fight. And because she's resilient and doesn't back down like Korra, she almost gets killed by her very own weapon, what she sees as the most powerful thing in existence, until something much more powerful comes along. The strongest feat in Avatar history. Korra deflecting pure powerful energy completely breaks Kuvira's worldview. But that's not the most powerful part about it. What Kuvira sees as strong is Korra's willingness to save her. Strong enough to be there for Kuvira, the villain, when she was alone. And it's beautiful. Reflection, as we know, is a big part of Legend of Korra. In this episode, Korra reflects on who she was and who has she become. The first scene of Legend of Korra is a reflection between us and Korra. In Book 2 was a reflection between her and the Avatars. In Book 4, it's a reflection between Kuvira and Korra. This time Korra is blue, showing how she's a truly realized avatar, like the rest of the other avatars. And Kuvira is purple, symbolizing how she's an old Korra. When Korra faced her first enemy, we see her from an upward angle, looking down at the enemy, taking up all the camera space. But now with Kuvira, it's a wide shot, capturing them both, and Korra is lowering herself down to Kuvira's level, showing her connection and humility. Korra uses her pain to empathize with Kuvira.
You wanted to create a place where you and your people would never be vulnerable again.
Not only making it meaningful for her, but for other people, showing someone who is seemingly a god be so human.
I may not have been an orphan. Believe me, I understand what it feels like to be afraid.
The world may not want Korra, but they need her. They need its avatar. But what it means to be the avatar always changes. But for Korra, being the avatar is a symbol of personal resilience and good. In the beginning of Season 4, her reflection is broken. But in the final shot in the series, her reflection is of Asami. Asami has always been what Korra would turn out to be. Asami is kind, caring, and really strong. She's been cheated on, she's lost her company, her mother, her father twice. But she was resilient and empathetic to other people. And this is exactly who Korra is right now, beautifully symbolized with their relationship and reflection. This was a beautiful, well thought, and phenomenal character.
I needed to understand what true suffering was, so I could become more compassionate to others.